morning, good afternoon, good evening, Shilo. How are you?
I'm doing well, man. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, how's your day going so far?
Pretty good. Just work and now
Yeah.
off. Yeah.
How's that?
It was pretty good. Just been cranking out signs, I guess.
Yeah?
Yeah.
What do you do?
I work at Ron Signs, my dad's shop, but I screen print on the side too.
Okay, so signs, what kind of signs? What are we talking about?
Banners, realty signs, street signs, everything like that.
All right, so your dad's shop, so, I mean, when we're talking about clothing brands and screen printing, that's probably the best place you want to be at, right?
Definitely.
So how long have you been doing that? How long have you been involved with all that?
Since I was like, I started at like 12, maybe 13, started screen printing, like when I first started learning and everything. I had a brand beforehand, before Vague Visions and
Okay.
everything. 2000, I think 2013 or 12. It was a Loose End. It was another clothing brand that I had,
Yeah.
but I just stopped it because it was just like something I was doing as like a freshman in high school,
Okay.
And yeah, and so that started, and I just made a design, and
What was that one about?
that was just like a regular brand that I started only because my dad was like, "Hey, we have the equipment, start it." You know
Yeah.
what I mean? And so I just drew up a logo, started selling it, and I only made like one hoodie. You know what I mean? Just one
Yeah,
design
yeah.
on like a couple different colors of hoodies, and then just sold them to my friends and everything.
And then you stopped for how long? Or
I never really stopped. I think it just kind of died out, and then
Okay.
right as like I stopped, I started Vague Visions.
So you said when you were a freshman, right?
Hmm.
How old are you now?
I'm 21.
You're 21. Okay, so that was a while ago.
Hmm.
And how long ago did you start Vague Visions?
I started Vague Visions mid 2016 officially, really. In
Mm-hmm.
2015, I was doing like individual little T-shirts here and there on
Okay.
Twitter and Instagram.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like people would ask you to make stuff, or you would make your own.
Oh no, yeah, I was just dropping like shirts that I was designing and
Oh,
everything,
okay.
and just dropping them individually, not actual releases or anything like that.
So what actually is Vague Vision? Like what?
Streetwear, I guess. I mean, the best way to put it, I guess, is just like clothes. Like I don't know.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
don't really want to put it into like a category. I don't want to put it into like a category of either streetwear or like
Mhm.
anything like that, because I just make what I like, make what I like.
Where you like, yeah, because I mean, I feel like your brand specifically has a style to it. You know, the colors that you use very vivid colors.
Hmm.
With your branding online and with your prints themselves.
Hmm.
Are you the one designing everything? Are you the one behind it?
Yeah, I design everything.
Do you have a team? Is it just you?
No,
or-
it's just me
It's
for the
just-
most part. I have like my friends that put in input and everything, so, but for the most part, it's just me.
So the stuff, I mean, I think that's the best way to go about like selling stuff. Right? You make stuff that you yourself
Hmm.
like you would buy.
Hmm.
But like I don't know, out of your designs, what's your creative like process when you're starting off? What do you think? Do you just sit there?
I draw a lot of inspiration from a lot of different factors, meaning other brands, not like older brands and that kind of stuff, like established stuff like Stussy and all those kind of brands. Those are like what I pretty much base everything off of, just seeing their collections and seeing what kind of transitions they put, meaning in the release, let's say there was, I don't know, a couple different garments, I would put
Mhm.
like, let's test out that garment, let's test out this.
Okay.
And so throughout that process, it's just, I mean, I drive stuff from music, you know what I mean? Just
Yeah.
listening to stuff and just translating all that out into design, I guess.
So music, who's your favorite musician?
I'd probably say like Miles Davis. I mean, he's an old
Yeah.
jazz artist.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, yeah, because you saw my face go
Yeah,
blank.
yeah.
Because I had a brand back in the days, right?
Mhm.
And I tried to make it to where it was this cultural thing, and I was like being inspired by cultures and stuff like that. So that's how I would do all my designs.
Mhm.
But yours are just kind of like all over the place,
Mhm.
which is cool though.
Mhm.
It makes it to where people could keep buying different things or kind of wearing different things, and it's always fresh.
Mhm.
So I don't know. I really do want to know like your process, or how do you decide when to drop something?
Mostly just off of whatever feels right. I mean, I can design a whole entire collection and it be in the middle of like winter and I'm making a bunch of t-shirts. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? Like
yeah.
it's just what I'm feeling, and it's just what I think would look that design the best on what garment that I make. And so, I mean, for the most part, it's just me designing and seeing stuff, and I'll be like, oh, that's a perfect. I'll either do like vintage rips, you know what I mean? Like
Mhm.
some
Mhm.
like old vintage design, and I'm like, that's so sick. I wish I could put that on a t-shirt. Oh, let me flip it, do a little something
Yeah.
different, put a
Yeah.
mix on it and everything. So yeah.
So that's where you're at now. But at the beginning, when you what, let's start with the name.
hmm
Well, what does the name mean? Why this name?
Vague Visions pretty much was, I guess, born off of the fact that I never really knew what I wanted to do in life. It was
Mm-hmm.
more so kind of like a, I don't have a career path. I don't have anywhere where I really see myself. Like, I can't see myself at regular job. I can't
Yeah.
see myself doing anything like that. I just want to be in a creative space where I can just design and do whatever I really feel like.
So that's where. So when you started, you say that you've been doing this alone, right?
hmm
How was the process of starting something like this? Because I think the the um the market, like the this kind of market, it's a little saturated.
hmm
So how was it starting? You know, and saying like, you know what,
hmm
I'm also gonna do it, and I'm gonna put my stuff out there.
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely just, I was just putting out whatever I wanted. Like well, actually, that's a lie.
All right.
At first, I was making stuff that I thought everybody would like. This is at like the time where like FTP and like Foul Play and all those kind of
Mm-hmm.
like dark brands, I guess you could say, we're doing like a lot of like darker pieces and like edgy, very crazy stuff. And I was like, oh, that's the market I want to apply to.
Yeah.
And so I was making stuff that I was like, oh, this is so sick. Like this is the best stuff ever. And it's like I was making stuff that I was trying to be somebody I wasn't.
Mm-hmm.
And so I finally got to the point where I was like, look, I'm going to make whatever I want, and that's just how it's going to be. Because that, and from since doing that, it's definitely pushed the brand a lot more, and
Mm-hmm.
it's definitely been a upbringing from that. So
Well, why do you think it is that? Because I did the same thing too. You know, when I
hmm
started, I was like, oh, people, this is what people want. And at
hmm
some points, I was like, I didn't even like it that much, but I was like, you know what, people might buy it, they might like it.
definitely.
So when did you decide that, you know what, it's not, this isn't really me?
It's a pretty funny story actually.
Well, let's
So,
hear it.
I had a lookbook idea that I had. My friend owned a liquor store at one point, and I thought that it would be like, oh, like a crazy lookbook if we like pretended to like rob the liquor store, right? And it was like, so we just like came like after hours and everything, and set up like this whole thing. And I had like my friend Nick and Jay like acting like we were robbing the store or whatever. And after that, I mean, at the time, I'm living at my parents' house at this time. My
Okay.
parents saw that, threatened to kick me out. I was like, okay, I mean, at the time, I thought, oh, this is great. This is so edgy. This is so different and everything. And but
Yeah.
it's like, I was just trying to be somebody I wasn't. And so after that point, I kind of was like, okay, I need to chill out on trying to be different and
Mm-hmm.
just do whatever I want.
Yeah, because do whatever you want. I think that's the biggest thing that in society right now we're kind of turning. It's like we're in a turning point
hmm
where people are like, you know what, like this is just me, and people are either gonna accept it or not.
hmm
And I think that kind of showcases because your stuff's a little different. When I look at even the photography or like the models that you use, you see all these brands online and they're all like the same golden hour, same like happy go
hmm
lucky kind of thing. Your thing's a little more, I guess I don't want to say dark. I don't know how would you describe it? How would you describe the
mm
style?
I think, I mean, I used to do a lot of like very regular colors, meaning white, black, gray, a lot of stuff like that. And I started using like a lot of different colors in my t-shirts because I wanted to be more diverse. I wanted to be something that like I want people to be able to push out of their comfort zone and be
Mm-hmm.
like, okay, I've never worn a yellow shirt. Let's buy one. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And it's
yeah.
so, and it's definitely had me being wearing different stuff, and I've been able to be like, oh, okay, I would love to wear this, but that's just not my style. But now it's at the point where I'm like, I can wear whatever. Like it doesn't really matter. So
Now you
yeah,
just make whatever you want to
yeah,
wear.
exactly.
Has there been a point that you were just kind of like stuck and you're like, you know what, maybe I shouldn't keep going? Because how long you've been doing this now for? You said 2016,
Mid 2016.
mid, so 2.5 years.
Yeah.
Was there a point that you were like, you know what, let's just drop it?
Definitely. Like, I mean, I would have those kind of times. I would say, I don't know, maybe like once every couple months. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Because I was thinking that I was gonna be at this certain point in
Yeah.
a certain time, and I'd hear a bunch of brands being like, I'd see brands blowing up in like 2 years, a
Mm-hmm.
couple months. You know what I mean? And it's so, I mean, it's definitely a hard thing to accept, but it's not all gonna come, just
Yeah.
rapid. It's always gonna take a lot more time than you think, and I guess it's just not. Just don't give up on whatever you want to do.
What helped to get out of it? Was it just you, your friends, your family?
I think it was just off of thinking that it's like I want this forever. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And so it's like if I give up now, I could never see what it could have amounted to. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And so every single time that I was thinking like, oh, this is it, I'm over it, like it's not going anywhere and all this kind of stuff, something would happen and it would be
Mm-hmm.
like, oh, okay, I think I should just keep going. And so, I mean, it's always fun. It's always definitely like the fun that keeps me going with it. And it's so, I mean, just off of that, I guess.
To me, it's always interesting to see who's behind whatever. If I'm wearing a specific brand or if I'm, listening to a specific person, it's
Mm-hmm.
like, yeah, the music's nice, yeah, the brand is nice, but who actually am I supporting?
Mm-hmm.
So, what's something about you that doesn't showcase in the brand?
I do a lot of work for other brands too, and so I'm like screen printing all the time with other people and like brands that I'm friends with and everything that I've
Mm-hmm.
met over doing this, and
Yeah.
you know what I mean. So building like a connection with a lot of people definitely helped me out, and so on my even spare time when I'm not doing vague vision stuff, I'm still helping other people out.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still helping a couple other brands that are like my friends, or like I've helped Angel drop clothes like
Yeah.
very recent.
Yeah.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And so it's definitely just this is like all I like to do. Like this is being serious.
Mm-hmm.
I literally live for clothes. Like that's all I love to do. I grew up loving clothes every single second.
So, how do you get around, like, the feeling that you're helping another brand, like, grow? Um, I guess what I'm trying to say, some people have the mentality of like we'll just kind of help each other and we'll grow,
Hmm.
and so people are like, damn, like this quality of printing that I'm doing, like
Hmm.
I'm hooking this other brand up,
Hmm.
and then they're gonna, they might overpass me, they might
Hmm.
get bigger than me, and I'm
Hmm.
the one that did it for
Hmm.
them.
I think. I mean, I don't really think that way. Only because, I mean, if you can do it better than me, like, by all means, you know
Yeah,
what I mean.
yeah.
And it's like, there's definitely people out there that are way more creative than me, way more, you know what I mean, in tune
Hmm.
with design and everything. And so, I mean, if you have the ability to do it, then go for it. I mean, I'm not gonna hold anybody back. I'm just trying to do whatever I want. I want people to succeed if they're doing quality work. So
Yeah,
yeah.
but you're the one doing it for them.
Yeah, definitely. But it's like it's whatever, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? If they have the creative mind, then there you go.
Do you have any plans, anything that's coming up that maybe people don't know about, anything that you're working on, anything that you want to work on?
Next release definitely mid February, probably February 20th if possible, and hoping to have a pop up shop in the next couple of months, local pop up shop.
Mm-hmm.
But I had one over at my studio last time, and it was like it got too many people there.
Oh,
And
really?
I had way too many. I have way too many people for the size of the studio. So yeah, I definitely had to get into a little bigger space to do anything.
Are you looking? Do you?
Yeah, I have like a couple ideas, and I have like a couple people that I talked to so far, but just hearing back on everything. So
Who's someone that you would want to work with? Like, who's that person that's like at the top of the game that you're like, you know what, I need to work with you?
Stussy, by far. Stussy, Carhartt, probably. Yeah, those are two brands. Stussy, Carhartt, Neighborhood, all those brands.
See, I'm really bad at like street brands,
Mhm.
so I don't. Stussy, I know,
Mhm.
but it's not.
Mm.
What is it about them that really inspires you or makes you wanna work with them?
The timeline. I mean, Stussy's had since 1980. You know what I
Mhm,
mean? They're
mhm.
here to do whatever they need to do for as long as they need to, and so that's what I'm trying to do. Is sustainable brand that just stays forever and is relatable at all times.
So what do you think about like hype beast kind of stuff? Like
Mhm.
Supreme.
I don't. I mean, I used to be into Supreme. I was definitely a hype beast at one point, I
Yeah.
guess you could say. But now I just kind of wear whatever.
Why?
Um,
What changed?
Probably just. I mean, I don't want to sound like I want to wear something different than everybody
Yeah,
else,
no,
but at
but
this,
if that's
yeah, but it's. I mean, it's just. It's very saturated. It's very overdone and everything, and it's. I mean the Supreme whole thing that is going
Mhm.
on is just like ridiculous. I will never understand like how a brand like that will ever like just keep going and keep going, and it's
Yeah.
like they're always going to be at the top, and it's like I can't even understand the algorithm that like started
Yeah.
that. You know what I mean?
I yeah, but I mean, wouldn't you want to be that brand?
Definitely. I mean, I'm still looking for the blueprint. You know what
Yeah,
I mean?
yeah.
That's definitely the goal. I mean, but For the most part, that's like, I mean, they're at the top of the game.
Mm-hmm.
They have everybody's attention, and so yeah. I mean, I don't wear it only personally because I think that what they've done is oversaturated, and there's way too many people that have got it to the point that it's at, and
Yeah.
I just kind of faded out of it, I guess.
Yeah, yeah. Because I mean, I don't, I don't really wear that kind of stuff, but I feel like I saw it kind of go up,
Mhm.
and then it was like, whoa, whoa, and I was just like, oh, like you have that,
Yeah,
you have
definitely,
that
it's
too.
plateaued.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
The Vague Visions maple syrup.
Uh-huh.
Is that real?
It was real, yeah.
It
At one
was real.
point, yeah. I had I was at my house with my friend Nick. We were just like sitting there, just like I was designing. He was just like, I don't know. We were just both kind of
Yeah.
like brainstorming little ideas, and I started like designing this like I guess like log cabin looking thing, and I mean I just put the text over it, and I was like, oh, it looks pretty good, and all this kind of stuff, and I think I just like saw it as something that I could see like on a bottle or something like that. And so I was
Mm-hmm.
like, oh, like that would be so funny if like we made like maple syrup. And I was just kind of like joking around, and my
Yeah.
friend Nick's like, oh, that'd be hilarious. And we kind of sat there in like silence for a couple seconds. We were like, oh, okay, let's do it. You know what I mean? And it just kind of like came off of that, just off of a complete joke. And then I was like, whatever, let's do it.
So was it a product? Was it just a bottle? Was it?
Oh no, it had maple syrup in it.
Oh.
Yeah, it came in. I went down to like Ojai, I got like my own maple syrup mixed and all this kind of stuff. Like it was kind of a process that I went through just to get like that product out there.
So how many did you make of that?
I made like 25 of them, and they did pretty well. I was like, okay, this is very surprising, and people were just like, oh, it's a novelty item, like let's buy it. You know what I mean? It was like $8, and I was like, okay, cool, whatever. And people were stoked on it.
How big was it?
I think it was 8 ounces. Or
Okay.
It says right there. I can't see it. If you can zoom in.
Okay. Yeah, 8.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw this and I was kind of looking at the date,
Mhm.
and I was like, okay, was this like an April Fool's kind of thing? but it wasn't.
Mhm.
See, and then this is kind of what the same idea that Supreme had,
Mhm.
right? They were
Yeah.
just like, I'm gonna put it on a crowbar.
Oh,
you know?
definitely. Yeah, no, I mean, it's like novelty items. Everybody like gets everybody gravitates toward something that somebody's doing different. I've never seen any streetwear brand make that, and so I was like, okay, cool, whatever, let's do it. Yeah, and so
And do you plan on bringing it back?
no, never,
Never.
never.
You kept a couple for yourself, and
Yeah, definitely
that's kind of
for
it.
the
Huh?
archive. Yeah.
So you're talking about the pop up you did at your spot, right?
Mhm.
And you did that a year and a half after you started.
Yeah, I was doing a lot of unofficial stuff before, like stuff that I didn't really see made the cut. If you see what I'm saying, like
Yeah.
I didn't like the stuff at first. I was just making stuff that I wasn't into, and I was just trying to be somebody I wasn't. And so that's what I'm saying. Like officially started actually doing stuff like as a brand to try to push a brand, not just make clothes for fun, you know?
Yeah. So how I mean, obviously you're saying that there was too many people, but how did that go? How was that? Because where did you actually do it?
I had it at my studio,
Okay.
and it went well. I mean, a lot of people were there. Definitely a lot of people found out about the brand. A lot of people came that, like, Angel was asking people, like, oh, you know Shilo? They're like, no, we have no idea who that is. Like, we just want the brand. You know what I mean? We just wanted to come for the brand. We just wanted to come for the gallery. And so people were coming that we had no idea. And so that was definitely, like, a really cool thing to see. That was definitely something that opened my eyes to be like, I could keep doing this, you know?
And I mean, it's been a while. How come you haven't done another one?
I think just kind of push the space limit, I guess you could say. We've just been trying to find like a different space to do it, and I've been trying to like get a whole thing together with other people to do it, so it's like even more people, not just like two parties trying to do something, and just like a whole maybe like 6 to 7 people doing stuff just off of whole creative like energy, I guess you could say.
Yeah. To make it more of a vague vision event, not just like a pop up.
Definitely.
So to do a brand, to be like creative and everything, how were you growing up? Was this something that you've always been creative, trying to make stuff, or were you just one day like, oh, I'm just gonna do this?
I've always been like the kid that's just been like doodling all random like all day long in class and not like really paying attention.
Yeah.
And I mean, for the most part, I've always been into clothes. I've always had an attraction to clothing in itself, and I've always had an attraction to clothing itself. And so, like, my sister was into like brands on like Fairfax and all this kind of stuff, and so I got introduced by being around her and her friends and being around like all like my friends that were into like Supreme and all that kind of
Mm-hmm.
stuff. And so I kind of just started making stuff that I was like, oh, okay, cool. Like I'll let me see what I can do, I guess.
Yeah, yeah. So when you're working on your stuff, what does a normal day of working on the brand look like?
A lot of just research on like old stuff, a lot of research on like vintage clothes, a lot of like just research and development, I guess. I mean, I could say that I have like a sought out like plan of how I
Mm-hmm.
could see, but I could just be like walking down the street and see something and be like, oh, perfect. You know what
Yeah,
I mean? And
yeah,
just think of like some crazy good like design, and let's say I thought that was like the best design ever, and then I put it up and it's like the worst. You know
yeah,
what I mean? It
yeah,
does like
yeah,
the worst, but something that I was like, oh, okay. I have like all this stuff like planned out for this shirt, and it's like it does like whatever, it does like casual, and
yeah.
then I could put out something that I was like, it's whatever, and then it does amazing, and it doesn't even make sense.
Yeah, it's funny that you talked about like development and all that stuff because I've been reading this book that talks about like the failures of entrepreneurs.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what is it that they do wrong? And the
Mm-hmm.
biggest thing is that they create something that they think people would want
Mm-hmm.
without actually asking people like, like what they want without
Mm-hmm.
doing the actual research.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's why a lot of kind of brands fail because they just say like, you know what, I think people are gonna want this,
Mm-hmm.
but they don't really think about do they actually want it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I have a lot of good people around me that I can ask, and I have a lot of friends that I'm like, hey, you guys like this? You guys mess with this? And they're like, oh yeah, it's really cool.
And
Or
they say
they're
no
like,
to
yeah,
it.
it's trash, and I'll be like, okay. I mean, I take constructive criticism
Yeah.
like easily. It's fine, yeah. But for the most part, it's like, oh yeah, cool.
Have you
Cool.
pushed something they like no like you guys don't like it but I want
Oh
it.
yeah, definitely, definitely. I've made a lot of stuff that people are like, oh okay, it's whatever, and it's like, okay, whatever. I'll just put it out. Like, I like it, so
And
yeah.
did it work?
Yeah, I mean, not as well as
Yeah.
I thought. You know what I mean? But yeah, definitely.
For the people that have been kind of keeping up, we had Angel Serrano here a couple episodes back. He actually works a lot with Shilo and the brand taking the pictures, and he told us a story about going out in LA and doing something with the billboard.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't want to touch a lot on it, but I feel like it's your right to
Mm-hmm.
touch on it. So what's up? What was
Uh,
that about?
Yeah. I mean, this was like the first time I ever hung out with Angel. I mean, he had like had me or had him take some photos for me, and it was like, oh, okay, cool, whatever. And like, I mean, once I met him, I was like, oh, this kid's really cool. Like, one of the nicest people I've ever met in my entire life,
Yeah.
you know. And so, I was like, oh, okay, whatever. If he wants to like, I guess like take photos and stuff. Oh yeah, like come with us. Like, and so
Mhm.
we went to like L.A. We had like a bunch of like wheat pasted like posters and stuff like that, and I mean, I didn't go on the billboard. Let's say that.
Okay.
Sure. Just to be safe, I guess. And so we hit a billboard that was on top in LA, and
Ah.
actual billboard. And like my friend Nico was like, "Oh, we just got to go all out," and I was like, "No, dude, I'm not gonna do that." You know what I mean? I
Yeah.
was like, "No, no."
What were you guys putting up? Was it Vague Vision stuff?
Yeah, it was just Vegas.
Oh,
It was
okay.
like posters, and
Okay.
I mean, we're putting it up on a billboard that's what 12 by, you know what I
Yeah.
mean, a huge thing, and we thought like, oh, like a 3x4 poster is gonna do a lot, you know what I mean? We covered like 2 letters of whatever this billboard is, you know, and
Yeah.
so I mean, it was not noticeable at all, but it was still like fun, I guess. It was just like it was a crazy experience, and then after. I mean, we're like, oh, okay, cool, like we got it, all this stuff. I'm like shaking and all this kind of stuff, and then we go get into our car that's in like a parking structure, and it's closed, and it's like 2 in the morning in LA, and we're like, oh my god.
Oh, the parking structures.
Yeah.
And your car's inside.
Yeah, car's inside, and it's completely closed. They locked the doors and everything, and we're like, oh my god. And so I had my girlfriend pick us up at like 3 in the morning in LA, and so yeah, shout out her. And yeah, it was definitely one of the funnest times that I've had with somebody like new, from just
Yeah.
like meeting them to straight going into that. So
So you guys are walking around LA with all this stuff to like paste things at 2 in the morning,
Mhm.
and you're locked out,
yeah.
and you're just standing there with all this stuff.
Yeah, definitely. We just called like an Uber to get us to like Tatsu Ramen or whatever, and
Mhm.
my girlfriend picked us up. It took her like an hour and a half to get there, and so we were out until 5 in the morning, just off of complete like bad luck. That was it.
Did you guys like? Was it noticeable? What you guys posted up from the street?
Oh yeah, definitely. Like it was like a huge orange sign. So I mean, we
Ah.
put up a black poster. It completely covered like a very small section of
Yeah.
it, but it was still cool. Like it was definitely one of those like oh yeah, I'm glad I did that in my life, I guess,
Yeah.
kind of thing. So
Did you guys get pictures of that?
Oh yeah, definitely. Angel has a lot of photos. I have all the photos and everything on my laptop and everything.
Is that on a shirt?
No, never. I don't think it ever will be ever.
I mean, you just kind of, blur out the name and
Yeah,
then,
might have to. Nah,
because I
never.
mean that's kind of how all these other brands started, right?
Hmm.
Wasn't just a lot of stickers and slaps and
Hmm.
just everywhere.
Hmm. Yeah, definitely. Just I guess a lot of advertisement through your own way, I guess. But yeah, I mean, it was fun. It was definitely one of the funnest things that I've done. And so, I mean, from that, I didn't get any exposure. It was raining the next day. It completely came
It just
off. You
fell
know what I
off.
mean? Yeah, it was a complete failure, but it was still like just like super fun and great memory. So yeah.
Yeah. See, the cool thing about that is that you can make, like, you could create, shirts based off that story.
Hmm. Definitely.
I think, like, right now that you're saying that, I could just imagine, like, like an image on a shirt of,
Hmm.
like, just like, how many was it, three guys?
They were
Yeah.
across the street on the corner, and that building comes into like a corner. So then they were like parallel to the
Uh-huh.
corner. So
Uh-huh.
they were just like across the street, perfect view of
Just
everything,
looking.
telling us if there's cops or
Uh,
anything. So yeah, that was pretty funny though.
I wouldn't. Damn, I'm not down like that.
I
I
I'm
would have
not
been.
either. Trust me, my friend Nico is the one that's down like that, and I was like, no, dude, I'm not gonna go do that.
So the brand itself is yours, right?
Yeah. He's done like one design, and it was like, oh,
Mm.
okay, I need something like here,
Yeah.
like give me like I just need a design like
Yeah.
here, like, and then he yeah, and so I gave him money for it. And that was it. It wasn't
Okay.
like, I mean, he doesn't. He's definitely one of my friends that is down to help me with everything. He's down to do whatever for me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, I mean, he's definitely a key part in helping me out to succeed because he wants the best for me and he'll do whatever it takes to help me. And so, yeah.
Okay. So he pushes you to put stuff on billboards.
Oh, yeah, for sure. No, Nico's the one that does that. I was like, oh my God. Nico's my crazy friend that is down to do whatever in his life.
That's you need that in the group.
Definitely.
Your pop-up that's coming up. What is there a theme to that line that's gonna come out? Is there like something different?
It's definitely just gonna be. I mean, there's definitely gonna be a like a designated shirt that's toward the pop up, meaning like the whole event is gonna be like a T-shirt, and probably just with like an old release or like the last current release is definitely gonna be their stock of that and everything. But yeah, I mean, it's gonna be fun. I mean, hopefully a lot of people show up, and I hope that I can instead of just doing a pop up on my own because like I'd rather have people with me because like I'm not a fan of doing stuff that's just like just me. I
Like
guess
being
like
put on the spot.
yeah, I'd rather do stuff with other people because I want them to be able to have the
Exposure.
yeah, exactly. But I don't want to say like I have
No.
all the exposure, you know what I mean?
No,
But yeah.
but it's kind of like this, like I don't have a big following yet.
Mhm.
Hopefully one day, but it's more about doing the kind of the dirty work in the back,
Mhm.
setting it up and then kind of having people join you
Yeah, definitely.
and be part of it.
Mhm.
What else is going on? What else?
I got a couple collabs coming up, pretty big collabs that are definitely going to be a lot of fun. That I work with already one brand called Erased Projects. They're pretty big. My homie Edwin is part of that, and he is like, yeah, dude, let's do a collab because he had a brand beforehand called Phantom Source, and
Okay.
it was pretty big. It was cool. That was my first collab ever with the
Mm-hmm.
Phantom Source, and he's now part of this one brand that he's like, yeah, dude, like, come on, like, let's do stuff. And I've been like helping him screen print stuff and all this kind of
Okay.
stuff, and he wants to put me like into like a graphic designer for his brand and all this kind of stuff, which is cool. I'd definitely do it. But
Yeah.
yeah.
And who else? Who else are you gonna work with?
I mean, I don't want to say the name because it's like he's just starting it. It's not going to
Okay.
be like it's an established brand, but it's kind of like
It's a
a
newer
tier, a branch of whatever that
Oh,
brand
okay.
is. You know
Got
what I
it,
mean?
got it.
But I don't want to give any names out or anything.
brand.
You know
That's
what I
fine,
mean?
but there's stuff coming.
Definitely.
There's I think that's really cool. I don't know, for me, like working with other people, especially like on clothing things,
Mhm.
it's really unique because you have your style, but then being able to mix that style with someone else,
Mhm.
it just makes this whole little baby that
Mhm.
everyone kind of
Most
likes.
definitely. And I mean, the first collab that I ever did, I was like, dude, this experience is so sick. You know what I mean? And so,
Mhm.
I mean, I with collabs that I want to do now, I don't want to screen print stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because it's like if I'm gonna do a collab with a huge company, I'm not. You know what I mean? I'm not screen printing 4,000 shirts. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? And so
yeah,
it's
yeah.
like I don't want to do any of that. But for the first collab that I did, he had a pretty established brand at the time, and we were up for I don't even know a whole couple days just like screen printing, and like we just
Okay.
had to get orders out, and that was. I mean, that was definitely an experience. I had a lot of fun doing it,
Hmm.
but yeah, it was cool though. I mean, I don't want to do it again. I'll say that.
So you want to like outsource it now and start kind of focusing more on the graphics and the style of it?
Yeah, for right now, I'm just gonna do. I'm screen printing everything myself
Mm-hmm.
for right now because that's just. I mean, if I can do it, I'll do it. You
Yeah,
know what I
it's
mean? And so
just
it's
a
like the
stepping stone.
DIY like concept of my brand. I guess I've
Yeah.
always done everything like myself, and so.
But I mean, that's not taking away from the fact that the way you're doing it is like super professional, super high quality.
Oh yeah, definitely.
It's all.
Yeah,
It's not like you're in your room just kind of.
yeah. I'm not
knocking them out.
I don't like to do anything half-ass. I guess.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So you've been at it now for 2.5 years.
Mm.
For someone that's starting off, someone that says, kind of like what I was talking about earlier, like, oh man, even here in Oxnard, there's a handful or more brands.
Mhm.
What would you tell someone that wants to start doing it?
I mean, go through the bullshit. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
I'd rather, for me, I'd rather do everything myself and see all the trial and error in it, and then try to outsource after that. If I was like, okay, I really can't do this, do not
Yeah.
understand it whatsoever. But I mean, like, go through it. I mean, just try it out and don't give up either. It's never at a point to where you can give up if you haven't even tried all of the things that
Mhm.
you need to do.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
if you're gonna start a brand, it's it's not easy.
Yeah.
It's not an easy thing to have critics all over the place telling you
Mhm.
like, oh, this is terrible, this is
Yeah.
like really bad, but it's like, okay, it's something that I like. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And it's very hard when you're starting a brand and let's say you drop stuff online, get no orders. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like
yeah.
how like depressing is that? You
Yeah,
know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah.
And I went through that. I went through that for years and years. You know what I mean? Meaning beforehand when I was
Mhm.
just dropping like random stuff at random times. You know,
Yeah,
it wasn't
yeah.
organized or anything like that. But yeah, I went through that. I went through having all these people around me that were like, "Oh, this is so good," and then putting it out there and like nobody cared. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? And it was.
yeah.
I think now that I have kind of a little bit of a following, I'm not even saying that I have like
Yeah, but
anything, but I mean, for the most part, it's never give up. Don't
Mhm.
ever stop doing whatever you want to do. I mean, like, if your dream is to do clothes, do it.
It sounds cliche, but it's true.
Definitely.
At the end of the day, all the failures that you kind of go through are just options that you had to kind of see if they were gonna work out or not.
Mm-hmm.
So I think when you're talking about not giving up and all that, it's true. Like I think we're in a generation where we want everything instantly.
Mm-hmm.
Like myself included. I'm like, all right, like what's next? Come on,
Mm-hmm.
like where are my results?
Yeah.
But I think we just need to step back and kind
Mhm.
of like yeah, it is gonna take 2, 3, 4, 5 years,
Mm-hmm.
but it's gonna get there.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, it's all textbook. Like it's textbook not to give up, you know.
Mhm.
And so if you can go through it and you can get through the times of thinking like, damn, this will never get anywhere, that's when you start to see results. That's when you start to see people buying stuff that you have no idea who they are. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
that, like, even that, when I was doing it and finally seeing like a random person that I'd never seen before, you know what I mean? Like an order pop up on my screen and I'm like, oh my God. Like that was a
Yeah.
turning point moment for me, for sure.
Yeah,
To be
yeah.
like, damn, I have no idea who this person is and they actually support my stuff. Like that's amazing. And so, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, if you can get past the feeling of not wanting to do it anymore because you're not seeing results, just try to get past it and keep pushing forward, I guess.
I mean, I don't think I can say it any better, Shilo.
Thanks.
So I think we're gonna leave it at that. Go ahead and plug all your stuff to
Mhm.
make sure that everyone kind of stays up to date,
Mm-hmm.
starting by whichever thing you want to go.
Instagram, Shilo Wertenberger. Instagram at Vague Visions. Twitter, Vague Visions. I have everything of like Vague Visions. Like
Okay.
cool. Like it's
So
not-
you're on all platforms with
yeah,
that.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
cool,
definitely. And yeah, I mean, new release February 20th, hopefully, if it expected release date. I
Expected.
guess,
Okay,
yeah.
okay. All right, so you guys know this is all being recorded like always 101 North YouTube, so you could see the face behind the voice. And make sure you guys follow us and keep up to date with everything that's going on. We'll see you next time.